Huh? I have just received these two very large boxes. They contain something very special. It is the Revopoint Trackit 3D scanner. Wow. That's a very nice case. That's the first one. Let's unpack the second one. And here is the second box. It's a very large case. Now looking at the box, the case got some wheels so you can move it around, and it's got a handle, so it's like a luggage. Very handy. Now there was an aluminium box version of this, but it's extra money which I don't have. Let us open it and see what's inside. By the way, this is not a sponsored video. I purchased this with my own money from the Kickstarter, so there is no bias in this video. There's 4 locks on this.
By the way, remember to like, comment and subscribe.
What do we got inside? We have a warranty card. We have a quick start guide, calibration certificate. Here is our calibration plate. It's a bit strange they didn't put any sort of protection on it. I can already see lots of dust and small scratches on it. You can see there's dirt mark right there. Not very smart. Here's the other side of the calibration plate. It's made of carbon fiber. And I don't know what the surface material is. Ideally, it should be aluminum oxide. But it's probably too expensive for this scanner. Yeah, but that's one thumb down at this moment for not putting any sort of protection over what is the most important part of this scanner. Without this calibration plate, you're basically not going to be scanning. Right, the next part is, what is this? Let's have a look. Looks like a soft case, maybe. It's a scanning mat, I believe. Is it? I don't know what is that? Oh, it's for, what is this? This is so big. Right, so it looks like there is some writing of calibration board scanner. Maybe this is for setting up the tripods. Over here we've got some markers. Now I don't know if these are the ones I accidentally ordered or whether they included this. Standard IEC cable, I think that's what they're called. Just a computer power supply cable in the European flavor. We've got a USB flash drive with metrology information, tutorials and calibration. This is some sort of mount for the scanner or the tripod. USB Type-C to C cable. It's for the gimbal. I think these are the markers it normally comes with. Allen keys. And here we've got a bunch of cables. There's probably 2 sets, one for the scanner and one for the tracker. We'll see a bit later. Yes, but I don't really like how the calibration board is just exposed without any sort of protective cover or box or anything. Right, let's get to the interesting stuff. Here is the Revopoint Trackit 3D scanner. As you can see, it is a Metro X inside of a carbon fiber exoskeleton with all of these marker points on it. This allows us to scan without using any scan markers on our object. You can see this is all a single construction. made of carbon fiber, so there is no independent joints anywhere. It's just a Metro X probably bolted into this cage and calibrated. On the scanner you can see there are some LEDs. These are most likely white light or IR, but I don't think this has IR. These are the laser line projectors. There's probably the cross lines, the parallel lines, and the single line mode. We've got the two cameras, and I'm not sure what this one is. Maybe. And over here you've got the scan, for start scan button, probably brightness, and selecting the mode. Here we've got some mounting threads for something that we will find out, and here is the connector port, USB-C. It's a pretty light scanner. It's not gonna fatigue your hand that much. I mean, from what I've seen, it scans very fast, so you're not gonna be holding this as long as you'd be holding a Scan Raptor. Here we've got another 6 of these aluminum tripod. This one says it's for the calibration board. Next is our gimbal for the scanner or calibration pole. So you can see, got this big cog to tighten the scanner to this gimbal. Here is the other one. This is for the tracker. Here you've got like a Swiss type camera mount for quick mounting of, and it also does automatic calibration. Now for the reason I bought this scanner. Here is our tracking tower. Look at the size of this. It looks to be around 90 centimeters long. And inside, first of all, we've got our calibration pole. You can see it's got a bunch of these calibration markers on it. It's got the direction, a QR code for scanning, and it's all made of carbon fiber. So there shouldn't be any loose screws or anything over the time we use this. Wow, that's actually pretty light. It's made of plastic. And here basically we've got a camera with a bunch of IR lights. I don't know, we'll find out. What look to be vents, maybe for cooling. We got an on-off switch on the back. We got 12 volt DC power. Our gimbal, the PC, and 12 volts for the scanner. Very nice. So this tripod, it says it's for the tracker. So this is where we put our camera bar, and this one is for the scanner. So this is for our calibration. Okay, so we are going to plug this USB into our computer.
At the time of making the video, Revopoint only provided us with a beta software found on this USB stick. Currently they have not released the updated version as of yet. Another thing which I dislike about what Revopoint has done is the fact that they did not include previous generation of graphics cards to be compatible with this software, meaning you need at least a RTX 3000 series card to run their software. I have informed them that this is a bad decision and they should allow minimum RTX 2000 series, but ideally I think the GTX 1000 series cards should be adequate for such a scanner. I mean, Creality scanners work fine running on 1000 series cards. And because of this, I had to switch to my second laptop, as without the graphics acceleration, even the 8th generation i9 processor was very sluggish at scanning. And I mean the i9 processor along with the RTX 2080 graphics card is actually more powerful than what I'm using on my main desktop. So it's quite a letdown that Revopoint has chosen to go this way. Hopefully they change their mind. In my opinion, it's a pretty bad decision by Revopoint, because many people already own quite good computers, and to have to upgrade hardware which is more than adequate to run such a scanner is quite ridiculous. So they will probably lose quite a few sales because of this. The build quality looks quite good. The tripods are nice and solid. The camera bar is made of plastic with 2 cameras on each end. there are blower fans inside the unit, which force the air out through the front. On the back we have the power switch and some connectors. They chose USB-C connectors, which in my opinion would be much better if there was 2 screws to tighten the cables, because I found if you don't tighten them entirely, sometimes the scanner may disconnect during use. Once you connect all the cables, it should look like this, after which we can connect it to our laptop using the USB-C connector. In my opinion, they should have included a USB 3 adapter as well for normal USB ports. But now let's get to setting up all of these tripods and calibrating the scanner for its first time. The scanner does come calibrated from the factory. However, I wanted to see the calibration process and to demonstrate it in this video. The tripod holding this calibration bar is the same tripod we will be using to calibrate the scanner in the final stage. This scanner uses 2-axis gimbals to automatically calibrate the scanner, removing user error during the calibration stage to give us a better calibration result. However, the calibration process does take around 30 to 40 minutes, so it's not something you want to do every single time you start the scanner. First, we need to scan the 2 QR codes found on the calibration bar as well as on the calibration board, after which there are 3 stages of calibration, each with their own prompts to let you know what to do. However, I found if you disconnect during the calibration stage and you're, for example, on stage 2 out of 3, you cannot continue to stage 3 without having to restart the entire calibration. I think they should add an option that lets you choose exactly which calibration you would like to perform, because if you successfully complete 2 out of 3 steps, there is no point in repeating the 2 steps which you've already done. So maybe a menu which lets you select which calibration steps you would like to perform. Here we can finally see the scanner start to move during the automatic calibration, using the 2-axis gimbals to precisely position the camera bar as well as the calibration bar to calibrate the camera's field of view as well as depth. This is by far the longest part of the calibration. There are a total of 7 steps, so it takes around 30 minutes to complete. You can just set up the calibration process and go do something while it does its thing. And every so often you just have to reposition the camera bar a bit further away from the calibration bar and continue the calibration. Here is just some footage of the parts moving around, doing their calibration routine. You can skip ahead in this video if you don't want to watch this. Now is the final step of the calibration, which requires us to attach this bracket to our scanner to be able to mount it onto the tripod. The video is sped up 10 times speed because otherwise this video would be way too long. This will be all for this video. I have included one sample scan which I've done, but I will do more scans and make a more in-depth video soon.